Hey, what's up, Beef Sector? I hope everyone is doing well. Thank you all for coming in. First of all, this is a bunch of BS. Let me start off with the RNC convention. Nikki Haley, Marco Rubio, all of you all did not like Trump. Now, he's sitting up there looking at you all, critiquing your speeches to see what you all are going to say. Then Ben Carson trying to be all churchy, about Donald Trump not being unalived by a shooter. And what really got me was the fact checking, and these people were lying. Biden had the lowest unemployment rate compared to Trump. Trump had the highest, rate on his watch. So again, what they were saying was not true. So they are fact checking these people. And it just brings me to what's going on in the YouTube sector. So you all, I was at Lemon's channel, and somebody told me to go to Lemon's channel because it was a lot of stuff going on. So I went over there, and obviously Lemon was a little upset with Shakim because I guess Shish Trish was dragging Lemon, and Lemon was not happy about that. And he was asking Shakim some questions, and Shakim was jumping around. And then it came to the point where Lady Snoop was saying that, hey, you were saying one thing in the Mo3 sector, but you're saying another thing in the beef sector. And pretty much he's saying that the beef sector people are so gullible that they are going to pay his way to Vegas. Pretty much in a nutshell. I am, paraphrasing, but that's what was said in a nutshell. Then he starts to attack Lady Snoop. And what really makes me not like this individual is that, first of all, you walk in the streets at 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning. You going to gas stations and walking everywhere. You use Honest Row for money, and it's unfortunate that you use Honest Row as a whole lick. And I mean, you use people, and it's nothing that you can say about me that would make me feel bad looking at who you are. And I just think that is tragic. And then he started talking to Lady Snoop and proceeded to tell Lady Snoop that he would put his appendage in her mouth and pretty much relieve himself in her mouth. That's what he said. And he continued to say that. And everybody just sat in shock to say, are you really saying that? And then he's saying, well, you can't tell people in the beef sector how to beef. Well, first of all, you're not beef sector. And second of all, it's terrible. And then, Lemon, do you need this man because of a coin? Because if he's not used for a coin, then you can ban him from your platform since he was so egregiously disgusting. And he did it when you left. So when you went to go talk to your mom, excuse me, y'all, I'm going to bed after this, but when you were talking to your mom, he really showed up and showed out. And he does that. And I'm going to tell you what, I do think that Lemon needs to watch out. Let me tell you something, Lemon, and you may not receive this. You may not receive this, but I'm going to say it. It's not the people who you think are your enemies who's trying to take your page down. It's those people who come to your panels on a daily and closest to you who will get your page snatched. And I think you need to be very careful of that. I think some people have shown you that I don't give a damn about your page. And even though you're using these people, don't think these people don't know you using them. And I understand that when they click on your panel, it's anything goes for the most part. But the situation with Wu and LG, them people don't care about your channel. They don't care about how hard you built it and to get it monetized. They don't care about that, or if it's monetized or not. They don't care if you have a channel. I don't think that Shakim cares if you have a channel or not. And then when somebody's trying to control your channel and your panels and tell you who you can and cannot have on, you need to be very careful of them. And it's not the people that you are close to. I mean, it's not the people that are not close to you. So it's not the Jay Wilsons of the world that you need to be concerned about. It's those people who you allow on your panel and you get comfortable with them. And then the next thing you know, they're doing something. Um, there are only people that I trust. And I mean, I got to trust you to actually take over my panel. I have gone off my panel and never put anybody on. And I just told people, hey, I will be back. I hate to do that, but sometimes that happens. So I think you need to be very, very careful when you do that. Let me say this, baby. I don't care about these people and what they're doing. I hope their trip was what they hoped it to be. I hope they had a great time. I hope they had good food and fellowship. And I hope everybody makes it home safely and that they'll do another event. I mean, I didn't really check it that much. So, no, Rico, I think somebody would sponsor you. I'm not sponsoring anyone to Vegas, but it seems like you can call your Detroit brother, Shakim, and figure out what he's doing. Maybe Honest Row will pay for you to go to Vegas, Rico. It seems like a lot of stuff is going on. So, Rico, if you want to go to Vegas, I'm sure you would get the funds to go to Vegas if you really want to go, Rico, because it seems like that's what a lot of people are doing. Rico, I don't know what's going on in Detroit, but baby, it's a lot of things going on in Detroit. That's all I'm going to say. My God, today. If Rico wants to go to Detroit, I'm sure somebody would sponsor him. I'm sure you and Honest Row can share a room. He's up for it. I'm just, it's just, it's just really over the top. So now Lemon is saying that there's going to be some people he's going to cut. And see, I'm just glad that I didn't start naming folk. I know who I'm going to meet with and who I'm not going to meet with. And that's the bottom line. Rico, if you want to go to Vegas, Rico, I think that the time is now. You better strike the irons while the fire is hot. So the fire is hot, Rico. So if you're gonna do it, y'all hear that? Rico want to go to Vegas. So you know they paying for other people to go to Vegas. I don't even want to call nobody no names. I'm gonna try to keep it very civilized and very above the fray on today because there's a lot of things I want to say, but I'm not going to say it. But that Shakim character, any attention is better than no attention at all. And he just jumps on panels, and again, he has a lot to say, but he's doing very little. And then he's talking about landlord, talking about some what properties do you own? I'm like, dude, where do you live? You don't even have a car. You walking, you walking to the gas stations. I mean, what are you doing? So I just think that it's really odd that he would say that kind of stuff, but that's what he's doing, you all. So we'll see. Landlord said that I doubt very seriously if Shakim is coming to Vegas because he said some people might meet him in Vegas, how he's talking to Lady Snoop. And I just think that people need to cool their jets, but we will see what goes on. So that's all I really had to say. Lemon, be very careful because it's the people who you least expected that will turn you in and have your page revoked. It's not these people like Jay Wilson and some of these other folk who you think are enemies, baby. Sometimes you let these people on your platforms and they are undermining your progress. They're undermining what you're trying to do by taking the focus off of what you all are talking about and putting the focus on them. I've seen a lot of that happen. And then when you leave, whether to talk to your mom or to get a drink of water or whatever you're doing, these people take advantage of the situation and they know how to get your page taken. So you got to be very careful of that. Well, maybe that's her man. Let me tell you something. I don't watch her. So I don't know what's going on in her life. And if she got some man, praise Moses. I mean, praise Moses. Look, I ain't mad. If DoorDash is delivering more than food to her, well, praise the Lord. Okay. Okay. Is she getting extra sauce? If she's getting extra sauce, well, hallelujah. Okay. I mean, that's all I got to say. Okay. That's all I got to say. Well, they wanted me to come on, but I'm in my other room now. But I was sitting here watching the RNC with the other half, so I'm like, I ain't coming on. I ain't going up there to argue. Get my the voice all damaged. I got to sing next week, and I can't be having my throat all messed up. So, baby, this is Coin. This is Coindella. So I ain't trying to be messing up my throat and talking to a honey pot harlot. Okay, a honey, what they call it? A honey pack harlot. I've been calling it a honey pot. I don't even know nothing about that stuff. See, I don't even know about that stuff, but obviously you get them at the gas stations, and that's what he was getting them. Child, it's a hot mess. These people just messy, and they've been using people. They've been using people for their money and stuff, and then they want to come out here. And then somebody said somebody was preaching the word and being conscious at the beginning when they first came on. So, baby, hey, I tell you what, you wouldn't have known. And I can understand if you give somebody a cuss out here once in a while. Sometimes you got to give somebody a good old cuss out. But when you telling somebody you gonna put your appendage in their mouth and you gonna relieve yourself, that's despicable. That's very despicable. When people talk about the selective outrage, it's despicable. And I don't fight like that now. Like I said, I can't tell people how to fight, but I couldn't even bring my mind to say something like that. That's nasty. Well, that's what I'm saying. But you just got to be careful because, again, everybody need to make their coin. But these people are looking out for themselves, and you got to watch that. I mean, that man didn't care anything about Lemon's channel saying what he was saying on that channel, and that could be labeled as violent behavior, hate speech against women. You got to be careful with that kind of stuff when people start saying that, and it's not selective outrage. If somebody says I'm a woman and I feel some kind of way about this, or somebody uses the F word for a gay man, your stuff could be taken. Thank you, Hypnotic Touch. So your stuff could be taken. So ain't nobody playing with that. Now let me turn this TV off. I might come on in the dark. Let me go ahead and come in the dark, honey. Ooh, let me see if I can come on in the dark. And he played piano in the dark. Well, let me say this. I don't excuse that mess. I sure don't. I don't care who does it. Ooh, Jesus. And he played piano in the dark. Let me put my little cover on my head. My blood of Jesus red, honey. And he played piano in the dark. Okay, I'm giving y'all Illuminati eye. Okay, I'm giving y'all Illuminati eye. Okay, I'm giving y'all Illuminati eye tease. My God, today. Okay, I'm giving you Illuminati eye. Okay. Baby, I'm giving y'all Illuminati. And he played piano in the dark. Okay, y'all, let me sit on up. Woo. Let me sit on up. Oh, my God. What's up, Lonnie? Let me turn one of these fans off now. Because, I can't sleep hot. Hold on, y'all. I can't be sleeping hot. I don't know how people be sleeping and sweating. That's nasty. Okay, I can't be sleeping hot People be sleeping hot and stuff, and it be nasty. And you sweating and stuff. I can't do it. Let me tell you something, baby. It feel like an ice box up in here before I sleep hot. I don't know how people be sleeping hot. I can't do it. No sub Baba Jr. I can't do it. But yeah, it was a lot of stuff going on over there at Limit. And Limit, I'm telling you, you better watch the people. It's not the people who you think is against you. It's these people who you think for you. And these people you thinking you making money off of. And these people will stop your flow. Okay, let me put this thing down just in case somebody want to come up. It was crazy over there. And all I was saying is Lady Snoop was calling it out. Snoop was telling him, I mean, because he's saying one thing with the beef sector, and he's saying another thing with other people. Okay, let me put my cover on, baby. Ooh. Let me put my cover on. Oh. Oh Lord, somebody coming up, Jesus. Okay, let me go ahead and put this up. See who coming in, honey. Who is this child? Let me see who this is. Oh Lord. Okay, let me put my little thing up, honey, because I don't be trusting folks because people be doing the most. So let me put my little 2024 up and then let me put the people on here, honey. Let me see who this. Who this?
What's up, man? You got the panel open.
Yeah, I got the panel open, but who are you? I don't know who you are. You got chaotic in your name, so I got to figure out who you are because chaotic means chaos.
It does. I'm a content creator, man. You can look my
Okay,
channel up and see.
content creator for where? Where? Because I really ask questions. I'm a who, what, when, where, how person.
No problem, no problem. I do more political commentary. I do more
Okay.
social, sometimes trending topics. Yeah, man, you get the panel open. I just wanted to call
Oh
in.
yeah,
Sometimes
yeah. So what you think about this RNC mess?
I believe that the RNC. I believe it was a shocker. JD Vance being chosen. He's actually my senator. JD Vance being chosen.
Oh, you live in Ohio?
Yeah, I do.
You from Akron? You from Warren? You from Cleveland?
I'm from Northeast Ohio. So
Okay,
area.
yeah, you probably I know you from. You're not from Chillicothe. You don't look like you from Chillicothe.
Nah.
No, you don't look like you from Miami. I lived in Ohio. I lived in Dayton and Cincinnati, but I'm not from there. God knows I'm not from there.
Yep, right off the lake. The only problem I had with the RNC was Amber Rose speaking there. Other than that, I didn't really have a problem with the RNC.
Well, I mean, he done assaulted Hooker, so what's the deal with him having one to speak? I mean, and she was fact checked by Joy Reid, and again, she don't even identify as black. She identifies as biracial.
So as long as she does not identify as black, and as long as people in Twitter are not commenting on her appearance as a black woman, then I'm fine with that. Yeah, I didn't want black to be identified with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought it was just very interesting. Like Nikki Haley is still trying to run for president, so she threw a little shade at Donald Trump, but yet she tried to smooth it over. And then of course, Marco Rubio, little Marco, up there. It was just really these people just a year or two ago was talking about how bad he was, and now they're endorsing this. And again, I heard no solutions. I heard bad things about Biden. I heard a lot of lies that were fact checked, but I didn't hear any solutions. I didn't hear anything that they were offering. Maybe if they would have just brought out Project 2025, then they could have really talked about what they were planning to do.
Yeah. Maybe we will get some of that on Thursday.
Yeah.
When Trump speaks, but Project 2025 is like 1,000 pages, so I'm trying to read over it. But essentially, I think it's much needed in the country. One of the first tenets of it is rebuilding the family structure in America. So I definitely agree with that. But I think more or less Trump is going to talk about Project or Agenda 47. Well,
it depends. What do you mean as family structure? Because I know a lot of people who have a family. I have two friends who are two males who raised two excellent sons who are, one is a doctor, one is a lawyer. They're married to women, but they were a family. So, I mean, what do you mean by family?
Well, I'm more or less talking about the nuclear family with the man and a woman. Now, I'm not against, obviously, in terms of making it illegal. I mean, obviously,
well, you can't, because these people are American. As long as you're paying your taxes, you're American. So it doesn't matter what folk want.
I agree.
You know, because I'm a same gender loving man. So if I pay my taxes, then, you know, I should be able to do what I want, as long as it ain't hurting you.
I agree, but you know, you're talking, you know, it's just my personal opinion. I think that
okay, well, that's your personal opinion, but we are Americans, and you're entitled to your personal opinion. But when it comes to legislation, it's not about that. Like, I don't believe there should be a chaplain in the school and that, because if you want to pray in school, you can go ahead and pray in school.
Yeah, there were a few things about Agenda 47 that I didn't agree with, but other than that, you know, I'm just giving my opinion. There's some things about it. Yeah.
Okay, because I hear people and what they have to say, but again, it is what it is, because we're all Americans, no matter who we love or, you know, our expressions. Because again, people pay taxes, and people deserve to have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, long as that pursuit of happiness is not encroaching on you. And I don't think anybody marrying a man is going to encroach on your liberty, because you don't have to. That's the whole thing. So if you're not gay, you don't have to worry about marrying a man, you know. So that's what I think, you know, because again, if we're going to do that, then we need to just have one solid religion for America. And again, we wouldn't be American if we do that, because we're a democratic or a democratic republic. So, you know, people have those freedoms. I mean, you know, and I'm a black man as well, so don't get me started on that as well. But, you know, I just know, and coming from a Pentecostal background, you know, I know some black people will throw the baby out with the bathwater, which is some kind, you know, they do that sometimes, but it is what it is.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Did you have a chance to watch any of the other videos for Agenda 47?
I did not. I'm not familiar with Agenda 47. Like I said, I was watching some things with Project 2025, and I've been talking about that way before this election really got hot. But no, I did not read that. But again, I was reading some of the propositions with 2025, you know, when it deals with civil servants, because a lot of the mid management and lower are African American people. You know, getting rid of DEI. You cannot have diversity or inclusion without equity, but that's what people think they're doing. They want to kind of whitewash history. I think our HBCUs are in danger under this administration, a Trump administration. So I think there's a lot of things that, you know, I'm focused on, not to mention voter suppression and gerrymandering when it comes to those voter lines and how they draw the jurisdictional lines.
Let me ask you this. You said you had a friend, and I heard everything you said. I'm gonna get back to that. But you said you had a friend whose sons, one became a doctor. What kind of doctor, if you don't mind me asking?
He's a medical doctor. His sister was on crack, and none of the family, who were a nuclear family, could take care of the kids because they weren't financially available. I mean, you know, they weren't financially able to take care of the kids. So he is a doctor, and his partner is, you know, an executive. So they took the boys, they raised them. These boys are heterosexual men, married. One is a lawyer, and one is a doctor, like his uncle, but who he says is his dad. And I would rather for him to be with those men, because they have a greater chance of being harmed when their mom was on substances. They were living, it was like a trap house type situation where they could have been violated. So I think they were safer with those stable gentlemen who had education and gave them what they needed to survive.
Do you think that tariffs should be imposed heavily, particularly on China, so essentially we can bring back manufacturing jobs to America?
Well, we're bringing back manufacturing jobs to America now. I mean, we have chip manufacturing, which happened after COVID. So my thing is, we got to be very careful with the tariffs because that could increase inflation. And what we don't need to do is give these wealthy people major tax breaks because, again, you cannot sit there and tax the middle class and give them more taxes to pay. I think that it needs to be equally distributed. So again, I think that we can always do these things unless you got to pass some legislation. And I really felt very interesting with that union person from the Teamsters talking because again he was really insulting those Republicans in their face because they're not about collective bargaining and all of that stuff. So I think he's trying to really say, Democrats, you all need to get on the ball and really work with us, but I'm going to be in the Republican space to kind of make things happen because I think that man really knows that those Republicans are not about the workers. They're all about business and making sure their bottom line is taken care of.
Okay. And what are your opinions on either closing the border or or pretty much whoever becomes president?
Well, I live in a border state. Where do you live again?
I live in Ohio.
Okay, so you don't live in a border state unless you cross up, unless you take the lakes and come over there. Well, I live in a border state, and a lot of our economy comes from Mexico. So a lot of those people are upset because they have border patrol in their cities, and now hotel rooms have shot up sky high and groceries are sky high because they know the government is going to pay those men very well, those men and women who are on the border. So it's really causing a strain for those border towns. Trying to keep people out only keeps us in. And I don't think I need to live in a jailed state. I do think that we need to secure the border with technology and again, make sure that when it comes to processing the claims of people and listening to folks' situations, we need to have more judges for that. Because again, we didn't have a problem when people was coming to Ellis Island. We didn't have a problem with Italians and Irish people coming over. I mean, the Irish people came over because they couldn't even grow potatoes. It had nothing to do with us. I mean, they couldn't grow potatoes. So if we allowed them in and did right by them, then I think we should do the same thing. Just don't do it because or have issues because brown people are coming into the country. And to further elaborate on that, I think it's disingenuous that places like Alabama and the state of Florida and Texas don't want these people in, but now they're crying about giving them visas and work permits because they don't have people to pick their lettuce and they don't have people to pick their tomatoes and they're dying on the vine. And these people that we're saying that they're taking our jobs, we ain't working in no tomato fields and we ain't picking no lettuce. So now the state of Florida, Alabama, and Texas are crying because they don't have enough farm workers. So again, you can't have it both ways. So that's how I feel about the border.
Okay. I'm just here to hear you out, man.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, then Donald Trump's wife needs to go back. She's not a citizen; she's an Eastern European. But when you have a man that likes white people and he thinks that they should come in, then that's the kind of mindset that we're dealing with. So my thing is, just like we did for the Italians and the German immigrants and the Irish immigrants, we need to do the same thing for these people. They set up the Ellis Islands and these places where people could actually, come in as citizens. They made sure that these people did not have criminal records. If they were sick, they were sent back. So there were some stipulations to that. They just didn't walk in, but I think that we need to do that. So, yeah. Okay. And they're not taking our jobs. I mean, how many black people working on roofs these days? Yeah, unless they own the business. But how many up there constructing houses these days? How many of us, cleaning houses and stuff? And I mean, so I'm just being real. The jobs that people are taking, they're being onboarded into India. So those customer care jobs where people are answering the phone, they're getting taken by Indians and AI.
We need to be concerned about artificial intelligence taking these jobs and technology taking these jobs. So I think that we are focused in the wrong place, and building a wall is not going to solve some of these problems. I think that you need to keep the present infrastructure and have technology. All of this stuff that we can find people and all of this face recognition stuff, we need to invest in that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. You know, I am a Trump supporter, but I definitely disagreed with his gaffe or Freudian slip when he said that the immigrants are taking black jobs, because I don't know, like you said, I don't know any black people who are just regulated to low skills.
Well, that's what he thinks. That's what your candidate thinks.
You think he thinks that, or just?
I know he thinks that. I mean, first of all, you know, when you get dinged by the Nixon administration for having housing discrimination, the Nixon administration, then I think you're pretty racist. I think the Central Park 4 would have gotten railroaded if it was up to him. And then let's even go farther for The Apprentice. You didn't even think Kwame should have been the sole winner. You was trying to get him to have a co-winner because you didn't want to see a black man win the show. And you don't think that that's not racist? Oh, okay, come on. He's racist. He's racist. And the thing is, he has the power. That's the thing. He owns things. And I think he's very disingenuous. He doesn't want these Mexicans or these Spanish people to come over, but yet when they found out that that's who he hired at his golf resorts and the people who were making his beds, then he got rid of them really quickly.
Oh, really?
I'm just saying. Oh, yes, he did. Oh, yes, he did. It was big. It was a big thing. You know, I mean, he's not a great businessman. I mean, go to the Atlantic City area. Those contractors will tell you how he stiffed them out of their money and how he bankrupt hotels. I mean, he's a good licenser. He's a good person to use his name, but far as business, maybe his dad, but not him. So, again, oh, yeah, really. Oh, yeah, really. I mean, he bungled the whole COVID situation. I mean, he pretty much embarrassed the CDC. I mean, come on. Can we put bleach in? And I mean, come on. And you think this is better? Like I said, I'm not a gung-ho Democrat either. But my thing is, if I got to take a poison, I'm going to take the one that's going to kill me slower. I'm not going to sit there and take the strychnine or arsenic that's going to kill me in 1 or 2 days.
Okay. Hey, man, I'm just here to, you know,
I'm just being real, because my thing is, I think that we are at a pivotal point. I think black people and their civil rights are at a pivotal point. I'm looking at people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Gates and J.D. Vance and all of these people, and these people are not for us. I mean, you know, instead of trying to dismantle Department of Education, you need to try to make it better and have fewer students in the classes and having teachers' assistants to help these teachers out and increase teachers' pay. That's what you really need to do. But, you know, charter schools ain't nothing but a point of making people's money. You know, and I find out a lot of red states have charter schools. You know why? Because a lot of them own charter schools and they're making a profit off of some substandard education. I'm just saying. So I think we need to follow the money. And I'm not saying that Democrats are angels either.
Yeah, I taught at charter school. No, I said I taught at charter school.
Were you certified? Were you certified? Good, because a lot of them aren't, because you don't have to be.
Yeah.
See, so again, there are some things that in our public schools you got to do. You got to take that test. You got to pass the test if you're going to be teaching that. In some of these charter schools, you don't.
I agree.
So that's all I'm saying. And I mean, you vote for your conscience. I don't vote against my interest. I don't vote against my interest. I know what it is to be laid off from a job and not have health care. So people might have some thoughts about the Affordable Health Care Act, but see, I wasn't poor and I wasn't destitute, but that helped me because COBRA is a joke. So, you know, I think that that's very helpful. And I'm not going to go against my interest because that was something that I used and it was very beneficial for me. So again, I'm not going to go against my interest.
But let me ask you this: Are you still? Do you eat healthy? Do you eat healthy? Do you exercise?
Yeah, I'll be 55 years old. Yeah, I'm healthy and I eat right, but that don't mean a darn thing. You still need insurance.
Okay.
If you get in a car accident, you know, it don't matter if you eat healthy or not. You broken up, you need to go to the hospital. Am I right?
I'll agree with you on that.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so it's not even about that. I mean, it's about having insurance and having protection. So fat people get hurt in car accidents, like healthy people get hurt in accidents as well.
Agree.
And unfortunately, some people don't eat well. Some people eat a lot of sweets and they get diabetes or hypertension and stuff, and that's preventative care. But again, I think we need to start doing stuff with the opioid situation. Again, I laugh at that. How we have really placated to the opioid when people on crack. We didn't have no crack clinics. I mean, we got all these methadone clinics, but we didn't have no crack clinic. You went to jail. So again, if you don't think this country is racist in their policies, the drug situation is there. I mean, people on meth, but they're getting help. But people didn't get help on crack. Come on, you from Northeast Ohio? You know about crack. I'm not saying you personally, but I'm sure you saw that.
I saw crackheads when I was a kid in the 90s. Yeah,
of course you did. You from Northeast Ohio. Come on. I lived in Dayton. And I saw crackheads in Dayton, so I know if I had seen them in Dayton, I know hell they in Cleveland.
Yeah, I saw some crackheads hopping fences, man, from the police.
Okay, that's all I'm saying. Did they have clinics? Did they have clinics that they could go to?
No.
They went to jail. They went to the jailhouse. That's where they went.
Yeah, they did. They did.
So I mean, I'm not mad at these people, but I'm looking at what people are saying, and I'm not going to go against my interests at all.
Okay.
So well, where are your thoughts? Where do you lean?
I'm far right, bro. I'm you know what, to be honest with you, I do acknowledge that there is a symbiotic relationship that is needed between conservatives and liberals. I say it all the time on my channel. We all know that the conservatives are the ones who are maintaining the critical infrastructure. I mean, you're not going to get scores of liberals to come work on your roof. You're not going to get liberals to put a sidewalk down. You're not going to get liberals to work on a bridge. You're just not going to do it.
But yet they passed the legislation that you can have that done, because it was up to you all. We would still have fallen bridges in Minnesota. I mean, Mitch McConnell, of all places, their state of Ohio, Brent Spence Bridge, they got mad at Mitch McConnell rather, because he worked with the governor, Andy Beshear, worked with the federal government to get that bridge fixed, and they came and attacked Mitch. I mean, so you're talking about infrastructure, but why are your people fighting against the infrastructure? Are they about consensus and collaboration, or are they just about burning it all down and we do it our way or no way? Because the conservatives right now are not the conservatives of the Mitt Romneys. They're not the John McCain conservative. That's the conservative that I'm used to. I'm not used to these conservatives that are controlled by one man. I'm not used to that type of conservative.
Well, yeah, I mean, to further answer your question, I mean, I can't, with a great degree of accuracy, speak on what Mitch McConnell has done, but I'm just telling you from what I've seen and experienced in my life. Now, when it comes to, teachers, when it comes to making Americanos, the liberals, and I'm trying to throw a joke with that one, but I tell people on my panel all the time, it ain't conservatives in Silicon Valley, building iPhones or designing iPhones, etc. All these companies, man, these tech companies, those are liberals. So there is some sort of symbiotic relationship between liberals and conservatives. However, I do believe in a male-female family structure. Because I came from one. And
I did too. So what does that mean? I came from one too, and went to religious church.
Well, if I can speak, I'm just all I'm saying is that's all I know. Right. That's all I know. All of my friends came from nuclear families. I don't know anybody none of my friends whose parents divorced, and all of the people I know, and from my perspective, from what I've seen, are all normal, etc. I'm not saying that people who come from same-sex marriages are not. You just said
it. You said they were all normal, and it seems like you need to go someplace. It seems like you've been sheltered. How old are you?
I'm 40, so that's
okay. I'm 54. So my God, I mean, it seems like you shelter, and Northeast Ohio is not the world.
I get that, but you were just asking me what am I, and I'm just telling you, right? So
okay, I'm not trying to argue. But you stand from my perspective, and I think you might need to get out some more.
I'm just answering your questions. I do believe in a
Okay.
stronger. I do believe in a stronger military. I'm not a neocon. I don't believe that we should have we should dibble and dabble in what goes on in foreign countries. I definitely believe we should have tighter borders. I don't believe that. I really would love for and this is what's discussed in Agenda 47. I don't believe in birthright citizenship. I do believe if you're born here and your parents came here illegally, the government should kick you, the baby, and the guy out and charge your country for the bill. I believe that. I definitely believe in a merit system, and that's also in Agenda 47 as well. You have to separate the dumb kids from the smart kids because I was a teacher and I used to go above and beyond, but I've come to the realization some people are just not going to excel in math. Some people aren't going to excel in science. I do believe in that. I believe that you should get some kids ready for trades early on in life. So there's a lot of things about Agenda 47 that I love. There's a lot of things about Project 2025. I don't believe that America should be an ethno-Christian state that's proposed in Project 2025. But I do believe that other religions should be respected. But I do also believe that the dominant religion, it's the dominant like signage and stuff that we see in city halls around should be Christian.
Well, I think
But I
that's
don't.
awful because again, you got to realize that the founding father, a lot of them were not Christians.
I
And
agree. A
see,
lot of them.
I think that's a problem because
I
there
agree.
shouldn't. This is why we have tax exemption. So if you're going to do that, then all of these churches should be taxed, and I mean taxed. I think the Catholic Church should be taxed now with all of the lobbying they do. So I don't think that's right. As a chaplain myself, I think that's wrong.
Okay.
I think I just think that people who had no say in the matter, who's over here and has contributed, they should be able to stay. Again, until we fix the system or get it right. So that's my feeling on that. As far as this nuclear family, that's not gonna happen. I'm just sorry. It's not gonna happen because again, that's discrimination. And if we're going to be a country of laws, then that's discrimination. You can believe what the hell you want to, but the law is the law, and you can get married without the church, but you can't get married without that law. Okay, so my thing is, I don't have to go to church to make my stuff official, and if that's what you want to do, fine. But I'm just as American, and I have the right to speak just as much as anyone else. And you're not going to discriminate or do anything to me because again, I'm not second class citizen, just like you a black man, and you saying that some of these kids are dumb. Well, maybe people need to have an equal playing field. Maybe if we have an equal playing field, then it'll work. I'm looking at schools like St. Mary's Academy in New Orleans, which is a black school in a predominantly black area, but yet their young ladies are producing. So my thing is put the money in and pay the teachers right and stop basing school systems on taxpayer dollars and distribute that money equally and effectively, and maybe we can have those schools. I don't have a problem with trade schools either, but my thing is I don't believe in it because it almost goes and sounds like eugenics. Then you a stupid black man, and like JD Vance and some of his cronies feel that a black man shouldn't be flying a plane, and if a black man is flying the plane, then I want to get off of it because DEI helped him get that job, and he might not be as better as a white man. And that's how you feel because that's what your Republican before. I think one of the speakers, that's what he was about. And so again, I have a problem with that. I have a problem with a party that is blatantly racism. Not to say that liberals aren't either, but they are blatantly racism. I'm to the point where I believe if they could have colored and white water fountains, they would do it. When I'm looking at a Marjorie Taylor Greene and these people do what they do and say what they say, I don't feel confident in that. And when I look at that party, I don't feel that that's a diverse party. I believe that's my four and no more. And if you say what I say, you're good. But if you have any thoughts and if you're not a part of groupthink, then we don't need you. I mean, look what they did to Michael Steele. I mean, they pretty much threw him away, and he was the RNC chairman at one time. And he don't even recognize that party. So if you want that Republican Party like it is now, I'm sorry, you can have it. Again, these are not Mitch McConnell, not Mitch McConnell, but these are not Mitt Romney, and these are not John McCain Republicans. They are not. They're not. And I'm telling you, it not only makes us afraid as other countries. And let me tell you something. You're talking about something we don't need to dibble and dabble in other countries. I'm afraid so, because I believe that we only hurt ourselves. And the last time we tried to do that nationalism and that isolationism, it didn't work out, and we wound up in World War II. So that doesn't work. That doesn't work. And if we would have stayed isolated, then we might have had Japan and Germany coming for us, and we might have been taken over. So I don't think isolationism works. I don't think it works. Now, have we messed up in some countries? Yeah, we have. We messed up in Haiti. We messed up in a whole lot of places. The Iran-Contra with Reagan, we did mess up with that. But again, that wasn't pretty much Democrats. That was Republican. And then they tried to do the Benghazi thing, but they never came up with concrete evidence. I just look at that kind of stuff. If you don't think Ukraine is important, you're crazy. You're absolutely crazy. And I think NATO is important. And ever since NATO has been in tag, we have not had a war within Europe. So I think that has done its job. That's my thoughts on that.
How do you feel about America footing 75% of the bill for NATO?
They foot some of the bill, but some countries have, and guess what? It was not based on who could foot the bill and all of that. It was based on other things, and I think Trump made a big deal of that. But again, that man knows no foreign policy. He knows no foreign policy. And it drives that, and that's why Nikki Haley was just pissed off, because he has no foreign policy experience whatsoever, at all. At all. NATO is extremely important, very important. And if you don't think it's important for a country like Switzerland, I think it's Switzerland who has remained neutral, but yet now wanted to join NATO, I think that speaks volumes.
And you think Ukraine should join?
I think after all of this is finished, I think they should. Of course they should. Unless you think Russia is going to play fair and by the rules, unless you are pro-Putin. I mean, we're not dealing with Gorbachev. He's already mad that Gorbachev relented, and now he's pissed off and he wants the glory days of Russia because he felt that Gorbachev relented to Ronald Reagan. Let me tell you something. If you want to go get a trade, that's great. And if you want to go get college, I think it should be accessible. And I base that on Booker T. Washington and W.E.B. Du Bois. I think black people should get classical education because white folk get classical education. If it wasn't that great, then they wouldn't be getting it. Do we need the trades? Yes, we need those as well. So it should be up to the person.
Okay. Well, man, it was good talking to you, man. I got to get some sleep, man.
All right. Not a problem at all. So,
Good to you, man.
All right. Have a good night.
Peace.
Peace. Y'all, look. Yeah. Hey, Robbie Privilege. Y'all have a good night as well. You know, I don't have a problem with conservatives, but I have a problem with these conservatives. I have problems with Trump conservatives, MAGA conservatives. I don't have a problem with John McCain conservatives and Mitt Romney conservatives, even though I think they are racist as well, but they know how to be diplomatic and work with groups and collaborate. These Republicans don't even want to pass legislation that's going to benefit. And even when the Democrats have relentlessly placated to them, even with this border wall situation, and because Trump didn't like it, I just, this crazy. And this is what I'm thinking. You had a whole Republican group come together with Democrats to iron out something. They spent all of that time, and because Trump did not like it, they ditched it. And the person who worked with the Democrats was thoroughly disappointed. Do you think I want to deal with people like that? And that was not in the interest of the country. It was for self-interest. It is for self-interest. Now, I have not read 47, but how he was talking. And y'all notice what he said. Now, see, he said normal families, normal. So what you're saying is that people who are gay or same gender loving, and let me tell you why I say same gender loving, and I'm really tired of having to explain that. Same gender loving was a coin used by Black people because it dealt with more than gay. Same gender loving means that we are in a serious loving relationship. It ain't gay. Gay has many connotations and nobody ain't ashamed of it. But I like to use that term because it was an African American person who came up with the coin in that term, and I like using it. So I use it interchangeably, but I like that much better. But I think that we are seeing that people who are raised in those households are very balanced. And most of those kids are brilliant and they go on to do great things. And all I'm going to say is I am never going to go against my interests. As a person who's been laid off, I had to use Obamacare. And do I like using HMOs? I don't, because you got to get referrals. But at the end of the day, that's just a small blip on the screen compared to using Cobra or not having any insurance at all. So I look at those things. But yeah, the normal family. And let me say this, I don't care what you believe. You have a right to believe in whatever you want to. Christian, non-Christian, you can be an atheist. This is America, and people have the right to believe what they want to believe. But no one has a right to tell anybody who they can love, who they can marry. It's absolutely none of your business. And if you're not gay, you don't have to worry about gay marriage, because unless you are getting ready to marry a man or a woman, you don't have to worry about that. And that's what I feel about that. But I did catch that normal family. And then he got, I'm like, well, have you ever gone somewhere? I'm like, it seemed like you've been in Northwest Ohio all your life. And I done lived in Ohio. And let me tell you something, baby, it is more than just Ohio. Okay. It's a whole Chicago. It's a whole New York. It's a whole LA. It's a whole Miami. It's a whole Mexico City. It's a whole Shanghai, China. It's a whole Singapore. It's a whole Japan, Tokyo, Japan. It's a whole Paris, France. What I'm trying to say is the world does not revolve around your state. And it's okay to have those things. But again, that's your way of living. And I think we need to be very careful, because he's talking about some Christianity, and I'm like, no. What brand of Christianity we gonna use? Then I guess the Pentecostals would be out, because it's not the Christianity that people want to use. So it goes into a lot of other areas. I think we got to be very careful. Dangerous Woman. I lived in Ohio and I was ready to get out. It's a place where dreams die. Let me tell you what I saw. This is from my observation. I'm not saying that Ohio is like this, but this is from my observation. When I lived in Cincinnati, people would move to Atlanta and then come back home. And it was like they were more frustrated coming back home to Ohio. And I just saw that. Then I went to Dayton. Dayton was a bustling manufacturing town. See, this is why I get off with this manufacturing, because then those plants start closing. And if you weren't in hospital administration or could teach at a university, or you were in government, it was little you could do in Dayton. I mean, so it was a very wealthy city at the time. But National Cash Register closed, the Telco plant closed, the GM plant closed. I mean, the plants start closing. And then people start getting on meth and crack. And so, yeah, you just got to be careful with that. Yeah, you can't tell people what to do with their bodies, even if you don't agree with it. If you don't believe in abortion, then don't have one. But and the sad part about the abortion argument is there are women who really desire to have kids, but they had to end the pregnancy because of their own health. They could have, risked their own lives. And you're telling me that this person almost have to be at the verge of death before she can get the help? So, yeah. And don't get me wrong, you all. I like Columbus. Now, let me tell you, my favorite part of Ohio was Yellow Springs. It's where Dave Chappelle has his ranch and lives now. But Yellow Springs was the most peaceful place, and they had this place called Young's Dairy, and it was not too far from Dayton. But I loved Yellow Springs. It was a liberal place. Antioch College was there. Antioch University is there too, but the college was there, and so I really liked the vibe of Yellow Springs, Ohio. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So Ohio was different. Let me tell y'all something. Joe the plumber is real. So when you start getting to places like Lima and Toledo and Wappa, Connecticut and Tip City, Chillicothe, it gets real Appalachian real quick. And people think Ohio, and one thing that really surprised me about Ohio, it was the turning point to freedom. So you had the slave state Kentucky right across the Ohio River, and you had Levi's Coffin House, and you had the Stower House where Harriet Beecher Stower wrote Uncle Tom's Cabin. So you had all of these Underground Railroad markers, but Ohio was so racist. It was so racist, and I couldn't believe how racist the state was. And I'm like, for a state to be so pivotal in the history of Black people, to be the gateway of freedom, it was so freaking racist. I couldn't believe it. So I think these people have forgotten their legacy, to be honest. So that's my opinion. I went to Cleveland, and Cleveland is the most segregated city. If you're Black, you live on the east side. If you're white, you live on the west side. Don't get me wrong, there are a few Black people who live on the west side, but for the most part, your Black population is concentrated on the east side, and your white population, for the most part, is concentrated on the west side. Period. So, yeah. And not only are they having a problem, so in the urban areas they were having crack problems, but then in some of the rural areas and some of the urban cities they were having problems with meth. So meth was a big issue, and when you start getting to the West Virginia border of Ohio, it gets really bad. It was so bad that a lot of the employers couldn't hire people because they couldn't pass the drug test. So I think Ohio University is one of the most liberal universities in Ohio. University in Athens, Ohio. A lot of Black people do very well at Ohio University. But baby, Athens, Ohio, like Nelsonville and all of those places, baby, it is very much it is very much Children of the Corn. It is very much what's that movie? Um Yeah, I can't think of that movie where they were playing da 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 da, and the boy was like da 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 da. It's very much like that. Oh, I can't think of that movie's name, but yeah. So Ohio ain't no joke. So look, you all, I said what I pretty much wanted to say. It's been an hour. Um, Lemon, be careful with your platform. It's not the people who you think hate you that's trying to take down your platform. It could be right from within. Be careful with that. Um, Lady Snoop, do what you do. Lady Snoop, you just calling it out. Yeah, Shakim is really interesting character. We'll see what happens, but I just think that he will get any attention that is garnered towards him, whether it's good or bad. And yeah, that's it. Deliverance. I think that's the name of the movie, Deliverance, if I'm not mistaken. So look, you all, y'all have a good night. I'm getting ready to lay it on down. Um, Whoever the gentleman was, at least he was nice. But I know what people try to do. People try to have a platform over here, and again, I'm very leery of people who I don't know trying to come in the sector. You know what I'm saying? Because we've had people without the right agenda and the right motive. And I think motives and agenda is everything. And so, yeah. So we got to be very careful. I can't be the gatekeeper for the beef sector, but I can be the gatekeeper for my platform. You know, I can't be the gatekeeper for everybody's platform. Everybody is different. People let people in. But, you know, for my platform, I have to. So, well, look, you all have a good night. I will probably see y'all in the morning. And yeah, we'll see what happens on day 3 of this RNC convention. Right now is giving me a lot of evangelical camp meeting vibes. I'm hearing a lot about vote for us. I'm hearing a lot of negative things about Joe Biden, but I'm not hearing anything about what the Republicans is doing. They're telling us how Joe Biden did so bad, and the fact checkers are actually getting y'all straight. The fact checkers are getting y'all together, and what y'all saying is not all true. It's not, but you know, we will see. So give us some strategies. I will talk to y'all later. Peace and love.